Hey, on this video, we're going to upgrade Rick's battery box. We're going to do quite a bit of work to it. We'll cover a little bit of the details, show you some tips along the way, and hopefully everything will go well and you'll get something out of this. So let's get started right now. So the first thing we got to do is get rid of all the old stuff. Okay. So let's open up the battery box. The first thing we're going to do is remove the negative cables first. Always do that. It saves a lot of problems. The other thing, one tip is I use zip ties to help organize my cables. So what I do is, when I'm removing cables, you'll see in this situation, I'm removing a negative wire. I have a tie wrap in my hand. I have the cables in the order they came off the battery post. And then what I'm going to do is put that zip tie through the cables and then cinch it down lightly. You don't have to tighten it up, just enough to hold them together. Okay? That's one thing that will save you a lot of problems. So now what I do is identify any connectors that I have to redo while I'm doing this. I've got major corrosion on that one cable I'm holding up, and I just pointed out a couple more cables. It seemed like the trolling motor battery cables had that problem. So now what I got to do is remove the cables, or the batteries, sorry about that. And these are sealed batteries, so I can just pick them up on edge, and it doesn't really matter, lift them up out of the boat, because they are heavy. So now all the trolling motor batteries are out, so that's what the battery box looks like after it's all done. So now what I need to do is replace the old trolling motor with a 60 amp breaker. The old one had a 50 in it. Since these batteries are shorter, I added a new spacer. Now the trolling motor batteries are in place, completed, ready to go. So now I've got to do the main battery. The main battery has a lot of terminals on it, so I'm using basically a battery block. I got that off of Amazon. There's a link in the description. And this shows you with that cluster of cables I've got to connect just to the positive, why I use my zip ties. Another one of the cables I had to redo is a bilge pump cable because the connector was a little bit goofy and I just needed it to fit that connector a little bit better. So now what I do is I finish connecting all the positive terminals on that block. Okay, that block makes it very, very handy to do. Now I'm going to add a little dielectric grease, put it on top after I've cinched everything down. What that'll do is that'll protect your terminals and the lug itself from corrosion. Okay, I tend to use the bulk pack. It's just a lot because I go through so much of that stuff. So now what I'm doing is I'm fitting a cover. I'm using a TH Hydra cover it's basically the Hydra 5 cover. You can find that on Amazon as well. And what I had to do is cut the openings for each of the cables. So that's what it looks like done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the labels on the batteries. The idea is that Rick can now look at the battery box and knows which battery goes to which bank on the charger, which battery goes to his phone. Next thing we have to do is recharge or reprogram the charger. Okay, each bank on this, because we're running lithiums, we're going to use the AGM cycle. Okay, this is not a PCL charger; it's a PC charger. It's the older one. So we're all set. Everything's ready to go. And so now we're pretty much all finished with that. So everything's done. So what we do is make sure the charger's working. It's going to take a while. So what we did is we added, summary, new batteries. We had a 60 amp breaker, replaced any corroded connectors, added covers, programmed the charger, and put in labels. Now everything